fix Steam. So, I don't necessarily have Steam running all the time. Someone just randomly contacted me. So, this is Juvortis. He's only going to appear now, and he's not going to... I think he appeared once around this time, but then he never appeared again, so... When I was in the group, he was in the group and stayed there for a long period of time, but he never said anything. At all. Of course. And that happened. And he's not going to be in YouTube Rangers that much either. Yeah, it's really valuable to add him when he's not even going to contribute to any discussion and just sits there as a name in the group. I'm not sure if this is relevant to that time period. I wasn't there in the group, so I can't say this happened for certain. But around the time, I'm pretty sure it did happen because MM761 did remember it happening properly. But I'm not sure exactly when it began. Starman3 had a period of time where he would only allow 25 people in YouTube Rangers at one time. So only 25 people were allowed to be in YouTube Rangers. If a new member was going to be added to the Skype group, someone else had to go. Even if it was mainly because of the fact that calls can't be started if you have more than 25 people. And they loved calls. And they were very lazy and didn't want to create extra groups all the time just to make sure that they had calls. So Starman3 came up with the 25-person rule where only 25 people would be in the group. Look who's taking up a spot. Yeah. This led to a lot of people getting kicked for reasons beyond comprehension. In fact, one of those people when I was around was a person who I didn't later speak to for about 3 to 4 months because it took until then for her to be added back. Yes, a her. It's technically a newcomer because Juvortis didn't actually appear back when Next Gen was relevant. Actually, it's not very hard because, one, you don't care about Starman3, two, it's a thing called that Super Mario Randomness video. Look whose color code I think changed. It's certainly different now. I need to hear these jokes specifically. We need to bring sexual contexts into this. Newcomer? We've seen him before! Apparently Starman3 doesn't know the meaning of the word newcomer in this video too. Also, yes, we're not even going to get newcomer text for him either. JVG is another person who I think sat in the group and did nothing. I'm not sure if any one of these people actually spoke and were active at the time. I'm pretty sure they may have made like one appearance and their appearance was important, I'll say. Important enough to say, make sure you put me in this video kind of thing, but I'm not sure if that was the case. Now it can be in anybody's video, even though Starman3 is not going to place the color code in the description. Or even give it out, for that matter. Slide time again! Why? I don't know. Also, we're gonna get told as to why Scatman's not relevant anymore. It's here that we'll learn that Scatman isn't really relevant in SM64 community anymore. Because everyone, yes, everyone, overused these particular songs in that particular time period. Not just Starman3. Starman3 just joined the crowd. Look who really badly recorded the slide music with sound effects in it. Then again, this is the same guy who recorded the inside of the castle with a door sound effect and didn't bother to edit it out. Also, if I was making a video nowadays, I wouldn't even follow these rules because these are very silly rules. I know everyone overused it, but if there's a specific reason as to why that song needs to be played, then do it anyway. It's a song. Thank you, JVG. You've shown everyone's reaction to this particular rule. Even if it was overused back in the day, not everyone should be necessarily doing it to absolutely ridiculous degrees now. That may have happened, but that doesn't prevent the song from being completely, used in the first place. And especially if you're trying to make money off of this, which you shouldn't be anyway. It's Mario 64. If you're trying to make money off of this anyway, you just get content ID'd and or the video will be, muted. You'd get content ID'd anyway, even if you weren't, putting it front and... If you weren't putting it, if you weren't making it paid, is what I'm trying to say. There shouldn't be a specific rule to block a song, oh my god. So anyway, I fixed Steam. Just because it's overused doesn't mean you shouldn't use it if it's irrelevant to a specific joke that needs to be played out specifically. Even if it's a common thing that you just don't do it, you just do it anyway if it's relevant to a specific joke about it. Otherwise, then what's the point? It's the exact same reason he didn't play in Starman Generation, even though that's relevant to the joke and relevant to what even happened in the first place. Didn't you notice the problems there? It broke continuity, and it broke, what even the original point of the video was. All because he was afraid just to play the song. I think I've seen people who still use it nowadays, even without this restraint, still having this backwards knowledge that this happened back in the day. So, it doesn't matter. If it's relevant to the joke, you do it. People still do Trollolol nowadays, and Rickroll, and Over 9000, even though all of them are extremely old jokes, and people would say, oh god, they're overused. People still do it anyway when it's relevant to do so. And we're going to explain the reason why it's such. Because one specific person said it. This is the reason why he's willing to break continuity just so he'll obey the laws of this one very specific person. And Matthew GU4 also has a lot of flaws with his own videos as well. There's a reason even nowadays I'm not really subscribed to him. Even if he makes really good quality videos, there's just some things about it that I simply do not connect with. So, taking his word as god of the SM64 machinima community, even though, yes, he is one of the originals, I just don't think that should be necessary. And especially if the joke needs... Oh my god. Especially if the joke needs to be done in that context. Especially if the song needs to be used in that specific context. Like Starman Generations and Blooper 1's filming, the music needs to be played. And especially in this case, since he wanted to parody and, you know, redo the video, do it again, because that's relevant to the joke that you're trying to pull in the first place. I'm not sure why there needs to be this arbitrary restriction on this thing just because one specific point in time happened to overuse it. And especially in the case of Summer Generation, where it's actually relevant to the plot, where Blooper 1 is refilmed, and the uploading of that is actually important because, you know, it's Starman3 of the past. It's actually relevant, and he doesn't use it just because he's frightened. You notice the problems where he starts completely failing to regard continuity at all. I'm scared. I'm scared I'll be critiqued by the god of Super Mario 64 Machinima. In fact, Matthew GU4 does have problems of his own. Like, he has problems with some specific kinds of stories, and, like, it's fine for him to not like them, but, like, he then sometimes says outright they're not these kinds of videos, and I just think, come on, dude. It's in just some cases. He's standing there because... Also, yeah, this video's kind of... This is the only time someone else aside from Sinbad does this. I think before someone else does it in the future. Don't worry, it's not actually serious. Starman3 wouldn't make it that way. Nah, it was meant to happen. Also, apparently changes happen as if you're sick. Good thing you clarified. Captain, if you were just behind the door, then couldn't you have heard Mario Star saying, "I feel dizzy"? No, pretty sure he's probably not dead, but sick, quote unquote. Seriously, he's not dead. The pulse is linked to your heart. That's how many, like, you know, your pulse is where, you know, your blood flow is. Like, an actual representation of that. You know, I don't think feeling dizzy would have such short-term effects for death, you know? Because if the pulse is out, you're dead. Because that means your heart's not really running all that well. If at all. And if it's not responding, then, you know. Oh, he's gonna follow the light in a minute. I'll tell you when the light happens what's actually going on. The word of God. So Mario Star really isn't actually dead, and watch this. What, it's gonna be a lie. I'll see this. Mario Star deleted his YouTube and got a new one. Named it Mario Star 92. since 92 was his favorite number, and 64 wasn't relevant to him anymore. I'm pretty sure he uploaded a few videos to it regarding YouTube Rangers stuff, but then he lost motivation and never did it. Like, he said repeatedly what this whole logic thing was, but he never really did anything about it. He made one video once, but then I think he deleted it along with all the rest of it, and then completely lost motivation ever. His only real appearance ever was in Starman3's videos, and focused on SM3 to even put him in the videos in the first place. So Mario Star's kind of like this third guy that's really, really important, and that's why Mario Star would not really have any motivation for videos of his own. So really, it's just one of these color code changing things again. We've seen Sinbad do this, so Mario Star's getting another big one. And Starman3 too, and Duck, but Duck didn't get an important one. Why don't you understand all this? Didn't this happen to you too, and you got a big dramatic sequence about it? You'd almost confuse it for those YouTube saturation things where they change the thumbnail to be way more saturated than what the video actually is. Apparently their lives are connected to their accounts now. Apparently channels are your life force, guys. Apparently when my channel goes off YouTube, I'll be dead. If it wasn't obvious that he's using Windows XP, then yeah, this is pretty much of it. Also, YouTube Rangers chat room, and YouTube Rangers chat group, and Minecraft. This isn't a time period of obvious. Look at how YouTube used to look. Also, this isn't an obvious hint, where it says Mario Star 92, right here. Yeah, that's an obvious, it's not really helpful to you if you can already see it in his actual bloopers, you know? Also, yes, that's Sinbad's channel. Oh, I'm sorry, it wasn't deleted by him, it just got terminated. Not sure what it was for. He never said. Because I've always specifically known him as Mario Star 92, so yeah. No, he's not. Your previous screenshot before you went to his page showed Mario Star 92. Of course he's alive. Everyone just has a million old accounts of completely different numbers. No crud, he's alive. Didn't we see it before? Didn't it say the channel was terminated? YouTube would have a very specific page if it said it was deleted by the user. Yeah, of course he didn't change the name because you're too obsessed with your name. To be honest though, he did go through like 5 names, like Fireflower something or whatever before he even ended up as Starman3 anyway. I changed my YouTube channel and that apparently changes my color code. Apparently that didn't happen with Sinbad and Starman3 and Duck. The voice of God! Don't even try and say a mysterious voice said. This is the kind kind of thing that Mario Star, the real Mario Star, would actually go on about for several times while people were in the group. If we ever brought up the topic of Super Mario 64 videos, this was the kind of thing he would reiterate every single time we went through this conversation about the elemental forms and the logic behind them. He had about like 10 in comparison to Luigi fans, about 4. All of different abilities, which again, like I said, because he never really expressed this properly, he never used, and therefore never actually properly utilized. These were all just logic. This was all just logic that he created that never actually made its way onto a video. Neither his nor SM3's, because SM3 probably never remembered it, and Mario Star never had the motivation to actually put it on, you know? Obviously, considering the YouTube link would not work for it. If you're trying to create a Mario Star 64 name, guys, I don't think it'll work anymore. I'm surprised he even managed to make that name. Wouldn't people have already started making names like that for several years? Pretty sure SM3 created this color code. So get used to that color code, because that's going to be a thing. Video's over. Credits, as in the things I cared about this video. Casts is always such a controversial topic. And more who I can't exactly name. Seriously, he couldn't have gone back and watched 17 minutes just to get the cast list for the video? 17 minutes on its own is not a very long period of time. This is a bit long. The video's over. See y'all, have a good day, peace, and I'll see you in Super Mario 64 Bloopers Superstar Halloween, which was the first Halloween special that Starman3 made. And in fact links to the second one, which, you know, it's a bit controversial there. So see you then.